new business funding you can get up to 2 million, 5 million, 10 million and above by opening up a simple email that shouldn't take you too long to go through and get started with your application. Hassle-free, heckle-free, nobody pushing you to do something you don't want to do, but making sure that person highlights the benefits and why this would be best from an expert business loan broker and yours truly. Hi, my name is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions, and in this video I want to quickly go over what are these new business loans or ways for you to get funding without a worry, without feeling pressured and any of this. But before I do go into that, just know I've been in your position. I have done this for so many years where I have been operating my business and my businesses. I have multiple ones, receive funding for them. And I know what it's like when you go out in the market. You try to find something. Does it work? Does it not work? Excuse me. You try to apply anywhere and everywhere. You find out that may be good. It may not be. Usually it isn't. You don't turn to the right underwriters, the right lenders, the right network of people you should be leveraging to get a better strategic partnership and longer term roadmap. I've been in that situation. So without any further, I guess, quote unquote introduction, I may talk about my story a little bit at the end, but I've been saying this for weeks now, months, and I'll say it again, that my processes are where I do this as a business loan broker. I have three. One, I have a questionnaire that I have people submit on my website. So I have processes, systems, and automation. Number one, the best way to get in touch with me in getting these new business loans or get a new business loan is to, one, submit a questionnaire form on my site that I will link you to down below. There's a business funding form, there's a real estate one, equipment financing, but the business capital one should be the one to go in with if that's what you're trying to do and not for a real estate investment. But you'll fill that out. And then next, it'll land in my email inbox. I'm actually taking time out of doing this just to make this video for you guys. I'm actually in the middle of actually putting somebody's questionnaire together. So what happens is you submit the questionnaire on my site. It'll be down below if you're on TikTok bio or elsewhere. And when you submit it, you'll be able to put what you have in your business going on. And it's very confidential between you and I. Remember this, if you want a real expert business loan broker, you don't want just some robotic answering machine or a robotic person, some customer service rep. I'm not that. And I very much value my energy and time. So if you're serious, fill it out. If you're a tire kicker or just going to fill it out and never be heard from again, don't do that. And so I'm in the middle. I'm looking at my screen right now. I'm actually giving this person some ballpark numbers. I'm pre-underwriting their file and putting their questionnaire response. So you'll submit the questionnaire in the bio, in the description. It'll then land in my email inbox, where then I will take time and energy to evaluate, analyze, and then reply back with the proper email response on your best funding option and options, thoroughly broken down from top to bottom. It'll be a rather lengthy video where it could be message clipped, and I'll tell you that you can open it up on desktop and laptop, preferably mobile. You might be able to see the whole thing in a clear picture. But at the very top, you have the introduction, and then you have the different services divided by green headings usually. And in those subsets of those headings, you can read through what that actual service lender organization entails that I know is best for you. And then you read through it. There'll probably be some ballpark numbers to some degree. And then there will be the documents part and then the application. There's usually a link there, the way that the lenders do it with fintech companies a lot of these days. And so you'll be able to click that link and I'll navigate you on what to do once you click that link and what the processes are. There's supplemental information, there's videos, there's way of going through things where I reviewed. So you can rest assured it does work. It is not a scam for those of you wondering. I've been doing this long enough. I don't scam people. I don't overpromise and underdeliver. I don't put people in a harmful situation or in a place where they're going to be regretting what they did. I don't do any of that like all these other people do. In fact, I was on a call, I believe it was 2 days ago, with an individual, and I understand him and his business. And he was telling me like, hey man, there's people trying to just call me. And I picked up once and somebody was trying to hammer me because I didn't send them the application. They were upset about it. I don't get like that. That's a person who's trying to sell you. I'm not a person trying to sell you. And in a way, we are all selling each other. I don't like to even use the word sales. I'm not pushy. That's not my character as an introvert. I'm going to give you all the details and I'll know if you're serious or not. But what does matter to me most is also character. Reputation is one thing, but character is very important. Now, new business loans. You're probably like, what is this funding? What is it? And so it isn't necessarily a funding product because all products already exist. I said this in another video. I'll link you guys to maybe down below in the description, or you guys can search through my YouTube videos and type in new business loans, and you'll find out in that video I spoke about not exactly is there a new business loan, but there are iterations of it. And sometimes a new one does come out, but it doesn't come out as often, and it doesn't always benefit you anyways. And you would probably even qualify for it if it came up. And so all those things factored in, there's only iterations of them and processes on how to fulfill on it. So what I'm speaking about in this video, when I say new business loans, more so on getting another business loan or getting a newer one. You're just a startup, you're looking for some type of financing, maybe you're looking for another funding service. So in particular, business funding, not just solely business loans. And I'm going into my processes right now where it's a 3-step way. Number 1, you are going to submit the questionnaire form on my site down below in the description. Step 2, I will then evaluate it, analyze it, which I have somebody's form up here. Once I get off this video in a little bit, I'm going to go back in there. I'm in the introduction of his, putting it together through one of the services that I feel is best for him. And then I'm going to continue through the meat of that. I'm going to put more services that he may or may not qualify for. And then at the end, I'll have a conclusion and a roadmap. So I'll say conclusion, what to do. This is what I recommend. And this is the roadmap, what I would do in your position to get started. And from that email, you can simply click the link that's very safe and secure again, or however I ask for this to be done. I can send you something if that's how it is. And then you get started on the application. Literally, it's that simple. It really is that easy. Now, here's where the dilemma comes in, excuse me. So we just spoke about new quote-unquote business loans. How to get a new business loan is primarily what we're speaking about. Like, Michael, I've been trying to get one. I've just been applying, or I didn't like this, or I don't know about that process. Can you help me out? And so when people come into my world and my ecosystem, this is what I mean. The process is you fill out the questionnaire. My part of it is I'll evaluate, analyze, give you a proper response back via email. And then step 3, you can go ahead and get started. What you want to do on your part to get that new business loan, whether you already have an existing one or you're just getting started with a new business loan or any kind of funding service, I'll navigate you in this email. Like, for example, it is confidential. I can't show you what's here because it is strictly confidential. I have done an example on one of my videos in the past. I may put that down below, but regardless of that, right here, up to 25K option, and in parentheses, and this is in green heading, best option for a lump sum with a business checking account and leveraging your business bank statements. Please start here if you'd like a lump sum. Docs and application are below. Scroll to get there. And right before I show them any of the application, the documents, I go into, hey, this will be one of your best shots with this and this, and I detail word per word what that actual lender and service is looking for, and it's most up to date in the market. So what this does for you is a couple of things. So one, in your mind, I know the psychology. You go, well, I would have liked to know what else was out there. I mean, is this guy really telling me everything? Like, you want to know. So I give that email to you where I show you what you can and can't qualify for. Some of you may qualify for more, but I say, hey, this is the best option to start with. And I put it at the very top for a good reason. And even if you saw the second option in green handy, you might say, hey, this is a great option, but I recommend the first one. And this is why I recommend it. Go to the first one, get started, read through it thoroughly. And that's the dilemma that people have when they don't just open up an email and don't even read what's inside of it. Treat it, it's not a contract. Treat it like it is one. So I'm looking at it right now. Let me go to the introduction. So right here, I have the person's questionnaire they submitted. I replied back, and I'll send it twice. I'll send it underneath that response, and then I'll also send it as a separate email, both the same, so you don't miss it. And here I have their name, email, phone number, funding amount that they want, time in business. This person here has stronger credit. They have above an 800. They don't have the sales to get them what they're looking for and what they're going to be using those funds for. But what they could do is leverage their credit. And we could work on a credit-based program instead of working on a revenue-based funding program where they're probably only going to get up to $4,875 or $3,000 at most to start with. And if that's what they are okay with, then they do it. But it doesn't report to the business credit bureaus. This is on the personal side. So it's not an APR product. You're not going to see a lot of APR products on the private lending route unless they're monthly, and it's very hard to get a monthly revenue-based loan. outside of an SBA loan and a few other ones. But here, if they're looking for that amount and they don't want to start off with like less than 4,000 or so, or they're okay with that, they can start there and then build their way up. It's not like they're going to start there and then get another service. So if they went into the credit-based side, and I put it here in the introduction, I introduced myself, I said hi to them, and I said a few things in the very beginning of the intro, and then I label how now I'm going to show you the best services with the best lenders in this step-by-step process that I've put together, and I've done this for years, guys. I perfected my systems, and so I'm not that person who's going to be like answering in any call. This is a different structured way, so keep that in mind. So I'm going to show you the best services and lenders with their respective applications in this order, and then I'll put it there, and then note 1, note 2, and then we start. In the body, then I have here, for this particular person, because their credit is bigger than somebody else who doesn't have above a 680, 700 and above. So, excuse me. And if their revenue, if I knew their revenue could get them around or more or less what they could get, we'll lean in with the revenue-based financing service or services, and I'll show them which one's best. But up here, I say, first option I reveal is the personal/startup loan option 1. In parentheses, then I say best option. Please start here, read carefully, and the app is below to get started. So in the intro, I walk them through saying, hey, this is a great option behind this type of financing. And then I go into the requirements a little bit of what the expectations are, what they should have, qualifications. I give them a note on what the origination fee could potentially be. Then I put some important details, have less than 35% utilization, minimal recent inquiries, even longer term inquiries. Some of that, if you're getting business credit cards, can hurt you if you still have them and you haven't had them removed. Chargebacks. You have high debt to income ratio. If that's the case, then we'll have to try something else. Or if you're out of solutions or you don't want to do another one, you don't want to do the revenue-based one because the way you deposit in your business isn't as frequent. I have people who tell me that every single day. Hey, Michael, I think I qualify for the 2, and you know you do because I showed you. But let's do the personal loan. And the reason behind that is because I don't deposit every single day, so it would hurt me to take a revenue-based advance. And I don't qualify for something else. I can't get monthly. The only way I can get monthly is through this personal loan, through your personal credit, through your business credit. So what do? You go through the personal loan where we can do an installment loan, which is kind of called a term loan, as we all may know about it like that. It can be in the form of a personal line of credit that may be a little bit higher than a home equity line of credit, but you're not putting your home on the line. Or credit cards, a combination of personal and business. But you have a plan where I'm not going to just leave you. I'm going to say, hey, we got to work on unsecured funding on the personal side, unsecured funding here. Then we move to this next stage, and that's how you work things through. So I put the important details there. Documents required, online loan application. I even put it here in blue parentheses down below to get started. If approved, this is what I'm going to need from you, and I go into it even more in depth. And then examples, I kind of give you that. Application now is right there. Click here to apply for your personal/startup loan application. And then boom, you're in. Now the second options, or the ones that come after that, you'll see here again. So now I have another personal funding, startup funding, and business funding option. But then I'll say, hey, this isn't best. Go with the first one. And I give you the reasons why, and it's because of your file. And so after that option, then I may have another one that I'm looking at as we speak, the up to $25K option lump sum, where it's going to be more of a hybrid advance or a merchant cash advance. That's going to report more towards your personal credit. There's no business credit reporting on these types of products. And so this one's even in more depth. I go into and break it down segment per segment on what each of them means. And then I go into the qualifications, why you would be getting what you're getting. And if you don't meet that, what you should do. Don't have issues with this. How does it work? I break down some number ballpark ranges. That's what I'm doing for this person. And I'm going to finish up here. And once that's done, and I put a lot of list of numbers, I put some extra notes after that application right there to get started. And then now I have another option that I've listed after that one's done, which is right there. Then I have things on fixing, increasing your FICO credit score, credit repair. And then I also have here building your business credit. I have a free video series. You guys can check that out in the bio or in the description down below. I'll leave it in time when you're on YouTube. Business credit cards. You also have the credit line hybrid. So I'm going to position the right service. And there's a lot more to this. This isn't just the only. There's a lot more. I have Microloans, Community Advantage. I'm going to have to start putting some of the SBA 7A loans, the business lines of credit that this person may not qualify for. And a lot more. Equipment financing, scenarios, EIDL loan updates, PPP loan updates, and all of this stuff. But just keep in mind, it's going to be a long email, and don't get overwhelmed. And I tell people this, and they don't even they tell me ahead of time too. They go, Michael, I think I know why you did it, and I know you did it because you're gonna want me to know what I can and can't qualify for. So I'm not just kind of having to run around pulling even soft inquiries everywhere and anywhere, which doesn't do you any good, and not having to apply to multiple places at the same time, unless you're probably doing some form of business credit card stacking. But that's how the email rundown goes, and that's how realistically you can get a new business loan for you, not necessarily a newer business loan that was published and released into the market. Because again, there are iterations. It's not always a new loan. Real estate loans, business loans, either way you look at it, sometimes there's an iteration, maybe something new does spring up and I'll bring it up to you. But again, it's only iterations, and it's only the processes of going through the sequence. That's pretty much it. So what I want to do is leave it open for about a minute, and then I have to get back to completing one of my clients' questionnaires, which they will be getting back in an email here today, as multiple others I've done earlier today. And I'll follow up with them on Monday with a quick text message, not always a phone call. And then if they don't respond back to the email, I'll sequence them. It's not like I need to give you a call every single second. What makes me think that if you can't even look at a simple email, can't even read through an email, what will it do me any good just to make connection with you over the phone? There's a time and a place for this, but most people do not get it. Most people don't, they go in one ear out the other, yeah. They sound good because they want to say something that sounds good, but are you really lying to yourself, or are you really going to just take that action? So with me, I don't mess around, guys. My energy and time, even now I'm giving it to you guys. This wasn't scheduled, but I said I'm doing this questionnaire. Why don't I make a video for you guys on what it would take to get that new business loan with this process that I have that is proven, and why a lot of people keep coming back to me and new people come to me. It's because of how I deliver. It's my message deliverability. It's my punctuality. It's my discipline. It's my care. What I do above everybody else is literally, personally, and as a human, I care about that other person. I'm not trying to get you to take a loan. Even if it makes sense, I'm not going to pressure you. I'm not that person who even likes being on calls, because I know how this field is and how many of you look upon us like we're just salespeople, and that's not literally what I am. And just to quickly end this video, I guess I'll go into my story. As I said, I run a digital marketing agency. I have affiliate marketing businesses literally where I generate thousands per day. I'm not even joking, you guys, because I've set the systems. I've done those businesses for more than 2 to 3, 4 years. And I did one in the health affiliate marketing space. I did one with helping people with their back pain. I had those issues. So I took an interest of mine and I turned it into a passion and started blogging a lot. I started then later the idea of being on video, although it's still hard for me to this day, but I've learned the skills. And then I transitioned into showing people software, the different services that I was able to leverage in my journey. So I have other ventures as well that I have done, and some new ones recently. But just know that I have a background in those parts, but this is my primary focus right now. So I'm a systems, I'm a math guy. I'm not let's get in front of a video and produce, but I know I have to do that because otherwise I wouldn't be getting any good attention. And I'm not an attention seeker. I'm not like that. I need to market, because how are we else we're going to get business besides referrals? You can't just depend on hiring a team always and then having them do everything for you until you grow to that stage. You got to feel the pain. You got to understand all of it before you even get somebody else involved. So practice what you preach, guys. I began to in a 9-to-5 role. I went to school first and foremost academically. I played Division I soccer, and that was for some time. So what happened is I went to school, university, I did community. Originally I wanted to go for sociology, and then I had transitioned to do a few things. I knew my math mind and had gone into things like chemical engineering. Now, chemical engineering necessarily wasn't difficult math. It just wasn't enticing me. It wasn't really where I wanted to put my thoughts into. and it wasn't the right step-by-step process on things that I wanted. So chemistry was my favorite class, just so you guys know. I love chemistry. I love those classes. Like, I was the guy helping people in my class. And then, mathematics, of course, with the calculuses. But then I transferred and switched over to business financing roles, and business financing classes, I should say. So I started learning about more and even deeper into those subjects. And then, getting my degree and everything, good to go. But life experience, I also, before I completed everything, I went to the job field and I had worked different roles. I remember working the warehouse roles. I remember working the construction, manufacturing. I was a ramp agent. Yes, I know. I was one of those ramp agents, and I was working and moving the baggage from baggage claim. I did quite a bit. And so not only those roles, I'll get to the comments in a second, but I did manufacturing after construction, where I worked with my dad. Before that, I had worked with my uncle in California. Then I worked with my dad in California, manufacturing for an aerospace company. I worked as a headerman for a little bit, and then I worked as blueprints. I got moved into there, something much better, where I was understanding the die rolls and everything like that, and a few other things thereafter. And cementing, not necessarily that I wasn't stable. It's not what it is. It's because I was trying to figure out different roles and seeing the internal structure of those companies. And I knew the business owners, I knew the presidents, the CEO. And so we would have communication. And some of the most recent role that I had, one of the most recent, I was in a financial/logistics role. And I was moving nowhere. I was under promised, underdelivered, underpaid is an understatement. Company got bought over, went down under. I got into the transition for the first few months, and then that company ended up doing something else. So they rolled over about 50 plus people, and I was helping as a contractor, one of the best contractors there for HP and Peace Health. And then I had to go back on unemployment. I had to go back on food stamps. It was not a good time again, and I felt very embarrassed. And so it was hard, but I got through it again. And that's when I really, even before the company released me and a lot of other people, people at the very top with budgets, high budgets, I was already looking for passive income streams. So I started learning about digital marketing. I started doing a lot of video research, blog research like you guys may do. And that's where it all began. And there's a quick play story on that, where a friend of mine, I was on a Snapchat, a social media app, and he had commented on a teriyaki meal I had the night before. And we got into conversation at my lunch at that last job. Bottom of the floor, brown. You see cracks going through it. It almost felt like the earth was going to split just by looking at it. A dark light right above me, or more of a bright light, but it was dark at the same time. It was a big overhead light, but it was still dark. We were in the dungeon of a 3-story building. And the cubicles where people were just walking by, they can sometimes look in, whether they were saying hi or not. Privacy wasn't there. But yeah, it was just at that moment when I was having my lunch, and he told me about a way of making income online, and he was running a trucking business at the time. And I went home later that day, literally threw my backpack as I opened the door. In front of me were the stair steps, so I left it there, went around the corner, gingerly walking, where then I look inside and I see my kitchen. And right next to my kitchen on the counter is my laptop, where I had it from the morning, where I was already doing a little bit of research. Then I move it over to my kitchen table. I sat down for about a good hour or so, and boom, got to working and got to understanding. And then that's where I started also producing a lot of videos. After I blogged for a lot, I've created maybe over 1,300 or so blog posts. But yeah, let me go into the comments. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follow. It does. Yeah, and I know how the California laws are, especially with business lending right now. What I can and can't do. There's certain things that, like bank statements and handling some of that California won't really allow for unless there's a different licensing. So yeah, I can still work with California. I can work with every state. I can work with Canada, Puerto Rico. That's when we start getting into other continents and other countries, where I have a person right now who's actually strong in revenue, but unfortunately I can't help them out with what they want to do. But yeah. Does anybody else have any questions before I get going? And I also wanted to keep it short for the purpose of repurposing it on YouTube. And for watch time, I want to make sure you guys watch it thoroughly. I know even if it's a longer video, you guys may come back and bookmark it. But I want to get this out to as many people who need, quote unquote, a new business loan, but in the sense of, hey, this is the process that I'm going to get that new business loan. This is how I'm actually going to get another one. Or if I didn't have one, this is how I can go about getting it. And again, it's that 3-step process. Questionnaire submitted, I evaluate, analyze, give you a proper response back via email on your best funding option and options, very thoroughly broken down, no questions asked. So literally you can get started. If you had it sent back to you on a Saturday and you were working, hey, Michael sent me this, great. He showed me everything, boom. It's not like you need to get a call with me. The only way that would be like, hey, you needed a call with me is to give me some more clarity, or you wanted more clarity on the service, but it's all there. Or there was something that you left out. Sometimes we have to discuss if that will make an impact. And normally it doesn't need to be given that. I do. And I don't charge people for mentorship. Like right now, I'm focused solely on helping people get business funding of all different magnitudes. I like to focus a lot on the term loans, the lines of credit, a lot of these services, SBA loans, it goes on and on. But I'm not that person who, I don't want to build it right now where all I'm doing is consulting and not doing anything. I don't want to build it where I'm just meeting with people on Zooms when I needed it. I'm flooded, guys, and the majority of this is for me. It is. And we're not going to be getting into house loans in this. I know a lot of people like talking about how to get a home, first-time home buyer, second time, how to get a loan, how to get an LLC underneath your home. You could do those things. There are pros and cons, but I'm not going to touch that subject right now. I wanted to get into this on the business loan side. But yeah, they're completely different. They're night and day. For one example, and again, I won't get into it deeply on the numbers and all that pros and cons, but if you're getting a home loan, depends on what purpose is for what you're doing. But as a homeowner, for a 30-year amortization or however long you have it, a 30-year versus a business loan. Everybody thinks a home loan should be like a business loan. Now, that's the case if you go through the SBA, if you go through a bankable loan in some cases. But when you go into the private lending field, don't expect to get even 10 years. Don't even expect to get 15 years. Don't even expect to get 35, 3 years. A lot of the times you see 4 to 24 months just by providing revenue alone. You're not asking for collateral. You're not asking for credit. We're asking for revenue. If you're asking for those others, yeah. If you could go into a personal credit based program, which is a personal loan and installment loans and a few combinations, we can do between 1 to 5 years if it makes sense. Now, if it's an SBA, up to 10 years with real estate, up to 25 years amortized. It depends on what kind of funding program we're going. But don't expect this outrageous 5-year term loan. You have to be adjustable. And primarily it is because the lender wants to mitigate the risk of you defaulting and not being able to pay it back. It's already high risk that we're lending. And so they do that mitigation by giving you less. They can get their money back, pay it off early so you save on interest. Go ahead and do that. But the benefit has to exceed your repayment. It's not a home loan where you're using it for safety, security, savings, perhaps savings reasons. We're not going to say that exactly. But you're using this for your business to double, triple, quadruple its revenue, its profits, for it to go up and increase, not to decrease. So that's why it's a business, and that's why you want to differentiate your personal and business so you're not putting everything underneath one. Hopefully that answers things. Does anybody else have any questions? I'll leave it open for about 30 more seconds. So there's a time and a place, like I said, for a phone call, but I won't always give that. If it doesn't make sense to, I have people right now, Michael, I just want 10 minutes of your time. And I'm like, I gave you about an hour of my time and I sent you an email. Why don't you respond back to that email? You haven't replied back to what I answered. So some people try to take advantage. They're not doing it on purpose. Maybe they don't know where they could have put it in an email very quickly or in a text message for me. So what happens is I don't give them my time. You don't get my energy and time. Maybe that's how you are accustomed to. There are people who are accustomed to being on the phone all the time. I'm not that person. And if you get that from me, it better be well spent and it's rewarded. I don't just give people this. Not because I really don't like to. And I can say my message and communicate good. I just don't want to, and then people rack up time and have to cut it short. But I don't want to get people accustomed to that and just, hey, I can call you anytime, unless we've been in this long enough where, hey, it's this person, or hey, it's you. Okay, it's fine. Doesn't mean I'll always pick up right then and there. Pick and choose. So when I send you that questionnaire, it shows me if you can't even read that, why would I want to get on a call with you to just go over something that you didn't even see? Sometimes you miss the email, I get it, but I'll refer you to that email, read it thoroughly. If there's any questions, anything that wasn't discussed there, usually I don't miss something, then you go ahead and ask me. You can send it in the email, you can give me a quick call, but that's how quick it is, and it's very safe and secure. Yes, busy. And I know we spoke about your situation. So once it's paid off, it's ideal that you pay it off. Like I have, I'm not going to speak about, yeah, it's better to pay it off. That's what I would do. There are other ways you can still get financing with that, as long as your credit profile is clean. I mean, you can get another position. Like I'm working on a lot of people right now where they can get another position, or we can net the difference and pay off their existing balance and put it underneath one. But yeah, like we've spoken before, pay it off, come back, and then I have a few programs that can actually help. Got it. Yeah, and like if you get a guarantor, you get somebody else that can help you with their credit, do it. So that's what I'm working with a lot of people on right now too, on the cosigner/guarantor part. See, the reason I didn't want to do this today is because up here, I don't want to drain myself today on a Saturday. I said I'd be pretty booked, and I have done about 10 or so questionnaires, so this is my reward. So unless I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here. And this was more of a spontaneous thing because I was like, I'm filling out these questionnaires. Let me create a quick video on what this new business loan or how to get a new business loan is. So I'm going to close it up here in a second so I can get going. I wanted to really keep this under 10 minutes. I'm gonna close up shop here. No exceptions, 2 minutes and I'm out. So what is an MCA? And people like to say MCA loan, but it's merchant cash advance. It's not technically a loan. It's based on your future receivables. It's not exactly like invoice factoring, but somewhat. And so you get a lump sum usually advanced to you based on your future receivables. So you're paying back a portion of that with your future sales. So whatever you're making in sales, you pay back a portion. So sometimes it's a higher amount, higher gets deducted. If it's a lesser amount, less gets deducted. You didn't make sales for that day, nothing gets deducted a lot of the time. But sometimes it's fixed. I prefer the fixed ones. If you know your revenue, period. Don't be that business owner who's like, well, I don't know what it'll be like in 3 days, 4 days. Well, have you been in business long enough to know that? Or do you know your business well enough to know that? And so there's a fixed percentage as well that gets taken out daily out of your account. And daily isn't bad. It's only bad for those of you who are going backwards, who are negative, who will be negative in cash flow, who are in a type of business structured where you don't get deposits maybe every day or sales every day, or you deposit at the end of the week instead of every single day or every other day, and or bi-weekly, at monthly. Even at monthly, it's such a high risk and depends on how many deposits you have. So we can micromanage. We could see how we can take out a daily, or we can do a weekly. Daily or weekly, you see a lot in this space. And they don't report to the business credit bureaus. This is more on the personal credit side. And a lot of the private lending routes don't report to business credit bureaus. Some of them do, but you have to have exceptional time and business revenue, FICO and more. I mean, that's a short description. I can go into it for hours. Got it. Anybody else have any questions? About a minute. How to get... No, that was a video. $30 more seconds. I'm definitely going to be relaxing. I'll be On the couch maybe in like 20 minutes. I said by 2 I wanted to be done. I think by 2:30 because I'm making this video. I'm going to finish up a few more questionnaires. I still have a lot to catch up on. But is Super Bowl weekend tomorrow or is it next weekend? Okay, that's next weekend. You are most welcome and appreciate you as well as everybody else in here. I may not say it by name, but you guys know who you are. Thank you guys for contributing. For those of you who didn't say anything, it's fine. I'm an introvert. I'd probably be that person. I still go into clubhouse rooms and I don't speak. I'm not a speaker in that. I don't like doing that. I'd rather listen. I listen, absorb. There's something new, I'll absorb it. If it isn't, I'll still listen anyways. And I might give my input in the chat more than anything. Or I might not because I'm working, I'm listening, I'm doing other things. Like in Zoom calls, I tell people this. I told somebody this yesterday. I may be in your Zoom call. I give him advice on what to do on his calls to make it more interesting, I guess. But I tell him, hey, I'm there, but I'm working. I'm also doing things. I can't just be in the video, watching a video of somebody on screen for an hour, can I? Is that best use of your time? Even 30 minutes, even 20 minutes. 1 minute of my time goes and I didn't use it right, I'm not happy. You should be the same way. Not like mean, but you should be, hey, did I use even this millisecond correctly? Did I transition to this part as I should have? I wasn't on time. I wasn't on schedule. So quick 10 seconds and I'm gone. Step to start a first-time loan. I just gave it to you. If you were watching too, or you might have to replay it, but questionnaire, evaluate, analyze, give you a proper response back via email on your best funding option and options. You can get started from that email. Set, done, right there. Simple. A lot of people I don't even need to do a call with. I never do for the majority. And these are also business owners who are doing like 6-7 figures a month, guys. It's not the exception. To some degree, it may be. It makes more sense to do it, but I have to feel it out. I have to make sure it does because some people out there are just tire kickers. I'm telling you, even people who are doing 6-7 figures are just filling out forms just to see what they can get with no real action behind it, at least now or will never. And they end up figuring out other things and they end up finding out that that's not in their best interest. I've been there, done that. I know exactly the frame of mind that a lot of them are in. I'm a business loan broker. So I am the person who is the intermediary that connects people to lenders. And what I do is I collect documentation. I even pre-underwrite. I am looking at it from the eyes of an underwriter. So I know what they want. I know what the lender wants. So I'm not taking your file to someone if I know it won't work. Without looking even at bank statements, I can already tell what people would qualify for. Now, the reason for funding may be different, and it might be to some degree better for a certain service, but inventory is inventory unless you're collateralizing it, and we depend on what kind of inventory it is, or even if it's non-collateralized, a high-ticket, low-ticket inventory. But I'll show you what it is in that questionnaire with no questions asked. And so, yes, I collect the documents. I can go and select the right lender, or because I have direct lender partnerships with the best. And then also I have an in-house, or I already have stored all those lenders, but it works better in this brokerage for more flexibility with my team and an in-house look, which is what you should do in the market today. And I have the best for that in-house look, just so you guys know. If you guys have probably heard of other companies, those I would usually say not to go to. And maybe you've heard of mine, but the one that I'm connecting myself with and I'm associated with by far does the best. And from what I've seen, and I've been associated with others and I've seen how those work. And even if I haven't been fully associated with them, I know how internally those things work. So for me, it's not just trying to get you the best, but it's also trying to get you the best process. How it starts to how it ends. We want to make sure there's reduced friction at this point, and then there's reduced friction here. And so I'm a process and systems guy, so I have my team always making sure that every part of it is up to spec. And if it isn't, I'm going to go ahead and say something. So yeah, there's like broker fees and little things like that, but they don't amount to too much at all. And it's in your best benefit to work with someone like myself, a consultant, a broker who knows the field in every single industry usually I've funded. And yeah, just like today, a guy needs $150,000 in equipment for 5 years. He told me in an email. I saw it last night. I got back to him today. He's probably busy, but I gave him his option. I put it in the email. I told him, here's the breakdown of why I recommend this equipment financing lender. And it should be as simple as, hey, okay, starts the application even without replying back to that email. I know he saw that email and he's replying back by clicking the link, doing what I asked him to do, submit what he has to submit. And because he's eligible for this, here's a scenario on that. Boom, notification, I go to work, documents, go with my team, find the right lender, underwriter, boom. And then next thing you know, he has an offer presented to him and he's ready to go. Simple. Okay, there's too many questions now. So let me just quickly answer this again. I wanted to keep it short. Other times I would go for much longer. Get in touch with me. I'm not going to break down the whole process on how to become a private lender. I can connect you with quite a few people. If that's what you would like to do, is lend people money in the business loan field. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. How much money would I need to be a private lender? It varies depending on what kind of service you provide and to what industry. How much funding, what's your amount? Like certain lenders, they say I'm willing to give up to 150. I'm willing to only give up to 20,000. And the way you get that money is in different ways. But again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. I'm at the end of the video. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Replay will be up on YouTube. And if you shared the room, appreciate you. I haven't really seen all that. I don't really ask for it. Not because I usually forget. It's just, I guess I just don't say it enough. You're welcome. Short story about that. Or the short part about it. Best way to get in contact with me, Jeremy, is, like I said, if you're just joining too, bio. If the bio doesn't not LinkedIn, TikTok is weird where it doesn't always show the link. So if it doesn't show the link, it's okay, but you'll want to go to the bio if it's there, click the link, or in the description down below if you're watching this later on YouTube or elsewhere, and then click on the questionnaire. You'll be brought up to a page usually where it's separated by two options, startup and non-startup. If you're a non-startup, that one, startup, self-explanatory. And then it brings you to my actual form. You fill out that form detailed. And then what happens is I'll evaluate, analyze, and give you a proper response back via email on your best funding option and options. And so the best way to contact me isn't by this. Everybody's like, can I call you? Can I do it that way? Right. I thought I did submit yours back. I know when you brought that up, I was like, didn't I get your questionnaire back? But here, it might have been a different Jeremy because I have had a couple of them lately. But I remember seeing, here, let me do this. Oh, okay. Did you submit it 2 days ago? There's another Jeremy I have right there. My real estate. I'm not going to say his last name. But when did you submit it? And again, I can't always tell because of the username or... Oh, here it is right now. Hold on. Got it. Yeah. I think I know what you're about to put there. Yeah. Do you remember from... I thought I did give it back to you, though. What's your, the first letter of your last name? You don't have to give me it all. Is it, well, I think you have it on your username, so I'm pretty sure that's probably it. Yeah, so you have it on your username. So now let me look over here. I can actually go into my Aweber, so I can check my email list. Dog barking. Search by first name, contains. It's not coming up. And then let me go over here. Let me bring up this one. Yeah, I'm not seeing your file coming up, Jeremy. I could ask you the email, but I'm sure you don't want to give that out here. Maybe you can give me a hint or an indication of which one it is. Because I see a lot, like I get a lot of Jeremys. Like I just opened it up right now. I can get everybody down that list. Yes, you can DM me, but email me better because I'm not always checking up on this. I won't even check up on this once this is done. I got a few things to do. So email me. It is my first name, Michael, at viralfundingsolutions.com. So again, my first name, Michael, Micha as in Adam, E as in Edward, L at viral, something goes viral, funding, solutions with an S at the end.com. You can do that. But yeah, once I see that email or however you do put it, I'll send you the link because I didn't, unless something happened where I couldn't find it for some reason. But again, guys, okay, I'm gonna leave it here. This is the time to get in. I get so many people submitting this questionnaire and so many people who come to me because of many reasons. And I know what I can do. I know what's in my power to. Some things are just not capable of doing by anybody. So just keep a frame of mind where you have to be open-minded. Be open-minded, allow for feedback, and be patient. And I'll get back to you guys. Okay, sounds good, Jeremy. Appreciate you. So I think that is everything, guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Like always, I already concluded, so I won't say it again. And I will talk to you guys on the next one. Have a great weekend. And likely see you guys Monday. If not Monday, another time. All right, guys. Take care.